Hey, what's up there? This is Edem with Global Abundance LLC, back with another video. On this channel, we talk all things real estate with a little financial literacy, personal development, mindset sprinkled in on top. All right. All that's important, whether you are a seasoned investor already or you're just starting your real estate investing journey. So, on this channel, uh, it's about real estate again, overall, residential and commercial, different aspects. So if you find value in this information here, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe for more content. Today's video is going to be about being disciplined using credit. All right. Uh, I want to talk about some of the myths around credit cards, the benefit of having accessible cash, and why you should use your credit cards instead of cash for your everyday purchases. So that's what we're getting into today, and let's get started. All right, so some of the myths around credit cards, credit is bad, and cut those credit cards up and don't use them, and that is not the way to go. Obviously, you know what I mean. In those situations, we have to understand that some of our parents and elders also weren't you know educated on having good credit and what to do with good credit, um, especially in the inner city. We all come from different backgrounds and different settings and had different upbringings. Uh, if you came up in the inner city for the most part, and you know came up in the jets, or just one of those poverty stricken neighborhoods, you didn't have that kind of information. You know what I mean? There was very few uh, in those settings that actually had access to that info. You know what I mean? So um, try to get out of that mindset that credit cards are bad. Okay, when we're looking at it, say you have a card, and we'll just use a interest rate of 29%. Pretty steep, right? 29% interest. Crazy. Now, that means if you just go buy that new pair of Jordans, or that fresh new bag, you know what I mean, or that fly outfit that you're gonna wear to the club this weekend, uh, it's not making you any money. One, two, you're paying 30% on that cash. So unless you went and charged that because you're building your credit, and you have the $1,000 that you just swiped at the store, in your pocket, and you are intending to send that in the next day, or by the due date, um, that's different, right? You're building your credit, and that's kind of one of the things I'm going to touch on later. But uh, if you're just swiping a swipe just because it's available, that's where the problem kicks in. That's why as a whole, consumer debt is the highest it's ever been right now because of that, right? Being uneducated about how to use your credit cards that you have access to, and the fact that that high interest is what's killing you. Okay. Now, on the flip side, same thing. You have a 29% interest rate, or just for round numbers, we'll say 30% interest rate. Crazy, right? But you came across an opportunity where your $10,000 credit card, even at 30% interest, um, is going to give you a return, say in 60 days. Okay. You know, just be realistic here. Um, let's say you're getting a return on your investment in 60 days, and that return is, expected to be 45% return on that money. All right. Um, obviously, you are ahead of your interest, right? So it still needs to make sense numbers wise, and profit, and the cost of doing what you're doing to get to that 45%. But if you if your interest is 30% a month and you're able to pull a 45% return, you're able to get ahead. You're ahead of that. So that is something that makes sense to use credit for. So get out of the mindset of credit is bad, and you know uh, credit is only there for emergencies, and when the medical emergency pops up, or you know the tire blows out on the e-way, or something major happens. That's not what it's all there for. It's also there for opportunities that you come in contact with, that opportunities that you can make a return on that investment. Yes, indeed, you may drop your score a little bit temporarily, but would you rather have your score drop, whether it's 15, 20 points? Would you rather have your score drop knowing that you have that money tied up in a solid investment that may keep giving you residual returns over the long term, and you'll be able to pay that back and continue to make money? Or would you, rather have a, a debt that you owe because you had to have those new pairs of shoes? Now, don't get me wrong. I like to get fly, right? But is it worth it to go out and swipe that card for those, those fresh pair of shoes that you don't have the money to pay for? And that's going to cost you 30% interest, as we're using that example. It's not, right? So kind of get out of that mindset. Um, the benefit is, like I just said, having accessible cash ready, and being able to deploy for you to be able to do something outside of the emergencies that may pop up that you may need it for, right? Just having an access to accessible cash is a great thing, and you want to be disciplined. All right, we have to be disciplined moving forward, y'all. We gotta have self-awareness. We gotta have accountability. We gotta have integrity, and most importantly, gotta have honesty with yourself. You can't be honest with other people if you're not honest with yourself first, right? Would you agree to that? If you're looking yourself in the mirror knowing you're living a lie, how can you go out there and be honest and truthful with everybody else? And how can you expect everybody else to be honest and truthful with you when you're lying to yourself? Like, that's not how it works. So we got to learn to be disciplined. We got to learn to be good stewards of capital. We got to learn how to move our money, grow our money, keep our money, and allow our money to work the way it's supposed to work, like AI, like robots, 24/7, right? Like how AI is replacing a lot of jobs, and a lot of moving a lot of people out of industries that you may have thought were here to stay forever. Yeah, they are here to stay, but AI is going to be doing that. The robot's going to be doing that, right? So you know, wouldn't you like your money working for you in the same fashion, 24/7? So become disciplined with your credit. All right. You have access to cash that you can deploy. That is a benefit. And why should you use credit cards instead of cash for purchases? Well, because of the points, because of the perks and benefits with certain cards. For example, there's sign up bonuses for cards like this. Your Chase Sapphire Reserve and uh, other cards like that. You have sign up bonuses if you're able to spend X in a certain amount of time. You're able to get X amount of points, which leads to free purchases of certain things, free travel, free you know travel expenses like rental cars and things like that, and just allows you to gain something back. And maybe you have a card that is cash back. Maybe you're not getting points. Maybe you're getting cash back. So maybe you have a card like you know something like your Navy Federal cash rewards that gives you cash back on everything you spend there. So you're getting a percentage of that back. Well, if everything that you're doing is with cash, well, you're not getting anything back other than what you're not getting anything back. You use cash, not getting points, you're not getting perks, not getting any of that. So that's one of the benefits of why you should use credit cards instead of cash for your everyday purchases. Your phone bills, even down to your rent and certain major expenses. You should be using your credit card to pay for that. Now, make sure that you have the funds. I've talked in many different videos about not getting into high utilization hell. All right. So we're not swiping just because we're getting some points and that's a good thing. Hey man, I'm gonna get me some points, so I'm gonna swipe. No, you're swiping not just to get those points, but also because you're building a solid credit profile and you're able to get something back for things that you are already going to spend on anyway. So instead of going and paying that light bill with cash, swipe that credit card, but take that cash that you have to the side already to pay that light bill, and then go ahead and pay the card off in, say, a week, or definitely before the due date. Maybe your card isn't due for another month. Okay, great. But go ahead and send it in on anyway, so you don't forget, or so you don't uh, spend that money on something else. Okay. Uh, be responsible and disciplined. That is pretty much the gist of this video here. And, I'm just putting these videos together, just trying to get you into the right mindset, whether you're starting off as an investor in real estate and moving forward. You want to have the right mindset. You don't want to get caught up in a bad move based on your lack of information and your lack of know-how, and just being fed the wrong data. Okay, so I want to make sure that you're moving forward in the right direction. I want to make sure that you're able to avoid a lot of mistakes. And I'll be talking about a lot of my mistakes. I'll be talking about a lot of my failures, only so you can avoid them. I could be talking about all the wins and all the the hip hip hoorays all day long, right? But I want to help you avoid those pitfalls that I endured. You know what I mean? Some of the roadblocks that I had. So, believe it or not, I'm going to be talking a lot more about failure and what you shouldn't be doing, more so than what you should or could be doing, right? Because everybody's in a different position. Everybody has a different perspective. Everybody has different things that they want to do with their life. So what may be working for me may not work for you. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. Uh, that may not be your line. Being a business owner may not be what's right for you. You know what I mean? Like, that's okay. Doesn't mean you're less than, doesn't mean you're better than. It just means that that's your lane. You know, hey man, I want to be responsible running a business. I want to just clock in, do my thing, and that's how I want to do it. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but doesn't mean that you shouldn't be disciplined when it comes to credit. So I'll leave it there. Make sure this video doesn't go too long. If you found this information useful, you already know what to do. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, and leave your comments, experiences, feedback, questions, anything you want to talk about down there in the comments below, and I'll be make sure to check and get back to you. So until next time, peace and have a good one.